Todd McShay's final mock draft that just dropped minutes ago. And what a surprise. Look at number 3. McShay has the Niners taking quarterback Trey Lance. He then has Justin Fields going number 9 to the Broncos, which leaves Mac Jones, who many people have said is the third best option, going 15th to the Patriots. Again, this is per Todd McShay. Let's check in right now with Adam Schefter. And Shefty, what do you know right now about the latest with the Niners and what they're going to do with that number 3 overall pick?
Well, we know that the Niners have a decision, and Todd McShay believes it's Trey Lance. I can tell you that Trey Lance has closed the gap on Mac Jones. I don't know that it was enough to overturn him when the Niners traded up to the number 3 spot, giving up 2 future additional first-round draft picks. They did so with the intention of taking Mac Jones, but leaving open the idea that they would do a deep dive into Trey Lance and Justin Fields, which is what they've done. And I can tell you that they've come away impressed. I think Trey Lance is the smartest quarterback in this draft class, with a tremendous aptitude, well-liked by his teammates, beloved there at North Dakota State. And he has impressed Kyle Shanahan, and so he has gotten square into the conversation. Now, the 49ers have made their pick. They made the pick this week, and they are keeping it close to the vest. They're not sharing it with a lot of people, but we'll get to find out tonight on ESPN on ABC at 8 o'clock when the Niners get to announce their selection. It'll come down to Mac Jones or Trey Lance, and that pick will set into motion really the remaining picks in the first round, because if they pick Mac Jones, that means that Trey Lance and Justin Fields still are on the board. If they pick Trey Lance, it means Mac Jones and Justin Fields are still on the board. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But the Niners really start off the draft tonight, and what they do will impact the next dozen or so picks.
Listen, we can all agree that they're going to take a quarterback, even if we don't know exactly which quarterback that's going to be. With that being said, what are you hearing about Jimmy G's future in San Francisco?
We lost IFB.
All right, I believe we've lost. Okay, I believe we've lost Shefty. We'll get back to him in just a minute. Kevin, keep the conversation going.
Let's bring in Ryan Clark and Darren Orlovsky. Guys, off of that McShay mock there, Dan, let's start with you. What happens if the Niners do not draft Mac Jones?
Well, I think the reality is this, Kev. 15 years ago when athletic quarterbacks started to come into the NFL, we often said, maybe not 15 years, 10 years ago, like, where they go, there's got to be a very specific fit for a coach to go, okay, this is an athletic quarterback, let's use him the right way. And it's kind of flipped a little bit in the NFL, where a guy like Mac Jones, who isn't that athletic quarterback, there's a lesser group of teams that go, okay, we know how to utilize the things that he does well to fit our system, to excel our system, so to speak. And so there would be a smaller group of teams that I believe would be interested in Mac Jones than there would be interested in Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Because with Justin Fields and Trey Lance, you as a coaching staff can sit there and go, we're okay. Like, we could do so much with these guys because of their big, powerful athletic bodies, their big, powerful athletic arms, right? Where I think Mac Jones is a little bit more of a very specific fit to what you want to do as an offensive system. So if San Francisco doesn't take him, man, the ripple effect could be significant, because then you're talking about teams like New England. Are they going to go move for him? I don't think they would be overly aggressive. I don't think a team like Washington would be overly aggressive. I don't think a team like Chicago would be overly aggressive for Mac Jones. I do think they would be overly aggressive for a Trey Lance or Justin Fields.
All right, RC, what do you think of this potential fit here with Trey Lance and the 49ers?
I mean, you have to love it. I mean, honestly, I think this keeps Jimmy Garoppolo in play in San Francisco. But when you look at Trey Lance, that big physical body, right, the strong arm, and the way he protected the ball in 2019, this is the type of dude you want if you're Kyle Shanahan or if you're San Francisco 49er fans. And also think back to the Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers last year in prime time, and how great Josh Allen was, how mobile he was, the throws he can make inside and made outside of the pocket to Stephon Diggs. If you're Kyle Shanahan, if you're John Lynch, and you're watching from the sideline, you know what you're saying? I want me one of those. And what you get in Trey Lance is one of those. And I think he can be very explosive in this offense that's very college-like for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers.
Dan, I want to get your thoughts here on this specific thing. Now, the Niners sent three draft picks to Miami to move up 9 spots to get that third selection here. Many link them to Mac Mac Jones, for them to change potentially the direction and their decision, was this a reckless move to not have a decision when they made the trade?
Listen, I think, and Schefter's kind of reported this, Kev, that they went and made that trade thinking we want Mac Jones. But we're going to give Trey Lance and Justin Fields the opportunity to take that spot. Like, come take it. Prove to us that you guys are worthy of that 3 spot, that we would be making the wrong selection if we didn't choose you. And so I don't think that they went in saying, well, we're just going to figure this one out. We'll just go to 3 and see what happens. I think that they really liked a guy and were unknown about the other 2. And they've just tried to really do a good job of making sure that they've checked all those boxes, that they've done all their research, that they've left no stone unturned to figuring out who they think. And Kev, I think this is a big point. If they have a losing record this year, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, that's 4 out of 5 seasons of losing records. This is a big year. They need big-time quarterback play this season.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.